Lucas, it seems like a lot of people were watching The Night Agent.
Yeah, it was the most watched show in the first 6 months of this year. Now, the thing to remember, of course, is that there are a lot of ways to measure viewership on Netflix. It was the most watched season. It was not the most watched show. If you add together all seasons, that would be Ginny and Georgia. Another Netflix original, and Netflix has clearly gotten to the point where it is so big and commands so much viewership that after years of not wanting to disclose anything for competitive reasons, it now feels very comfortable sharing because it makes it look really good.
Yeah, I am curious about the comparisons here. I mean, when we talk about number of hours watched, I mean, does that mean that this skews more towards things that are series that have multiple episodes versus, say, just a one-off movie that's just 2 hours, or are they accounting for those differences?
It does skew towards television series. So in the weekly top 10 list that Netflix puts out, it has started to offer both the time viewed and the total viewers, which should account for the fact that the average movie is maybe 2 hours and the average TV show in the English language, at least Netflix told us earlier today, was 9 hours. On this data dump, which they're now going to do twice a year, it does mean that TV shows chart much higher than movies. I think the highest movie is like number 20 or something on the list.
And Lucas, as you said, Netflix coming out with these numbers in a large part because it makes Netflix look good. Could we see other streamers take a page from their book and release their own numbers?
I would be surprised if we saw other services release at this granular level. What they have started to do, really just Disney, I want to say, is Disney will give kind of like a not so real number of people who've started or watched something on a given weekend, which is sort of how Netflix started 5 or 6 years ago. If you remember the movie Bird Box, that was one of the first titles where Netflix gave any kind of viewership figures. The Netflix executives were asked about this on a call with press earlier today, and they said, look, we're farther along in our journey than some of these other companies. I think it's reasonable to expect that companies like Disney, HBO will do so longer term, but because their viewership is so much smaller than Netflix, they don't have a lot of incentive to do so right now.